Good afternoon. Welcome to Richard Allen's Hearing Update, Day 3, Part 2. Let's get into it. At 10:29 a.m., the discussion starts on the defense's response to the motion in limine. States attempt to restrict topics and names jurors can hear, with a focus on limiting any mentions of third party involved in the crimes. Both parties agree to one of the paragraphs confirming their commitment to the following standard rules of conduct and ethics. The judge emphasizes running a strict trial and enforcing the rules. Additionally, she expresses disbelief at the need to debate whether the parties would violate ethics by attacking each other. McClellan includes the issue in his motion due to prior actions by the defense in this case. Andrew Baldwin mentioned that the defense plans to present 4 witnesses today. Kevin Murphy, a former ISP detective who supports the idea of third party. Todd Click, the former Rushville police chief, also in favor of the third party idea. Amber Holder, the ex-wife of a man under investigation. Don Perlmutter, an expert in ritualistic crime scene investigations and symbols. Baldwin took about 25 minutes outlining what the judge can expect to hear today. Key points highlighted by Baldwin. Prior to Richard Allen's arrest, law enforcement believed multiple individuals were involved, ranging from 2 to 5 people. Some officers still hold this belief. Law enforcement officers seem to maintain the notion that there was involvement from a third party. Baldwin mentioned that the expert analyzing cell phone pings only discovered Libby German's phone reconnected in May 2024. He suggested that the phone was not in the area where the girls were found from the afternoon of February the 13th until the early morning of February 14th. Baldwin questioned how, despite many searchers on February 13th, the bodies were not discovered 2,200 yards from the bridge until the following day. Baldwin pointed out that the autopsy report does not specify the time of death. He mentioned a social media photo that strikingly resembles the crime scene, describing it as unmistakable likeness. Baldwin mentioned the man having ceremonial knives and raised concerns about his alibi not holding up if the time of death is not between 2:30 and 3:30 p.m. He suggested that Kagan Klein should be considered a suspect, since Anthony Schatz was who had conversations with Libby German online. Prosecutor McClellan noted the standard procedure for introducing a third-party theory. The defense then introduced Dawn Perlmutter. She testified as an expert on ritualistic crimes. She is the author of multiple books, one of which is titled Investigating Religious Terrorism and Ritualistic Crimes. Perlmutter gave a list of things you might find at a ritualistic crime scene. Number 1, place of death nature-based, with tree logs, water, etc. 2, dates are significant, for example, holidays. 3, cause of death, torture, blood loss. 4, murder weapon, ceremonial knife or an object that is important to an offender. 5, symbolism at the crime scene, the use of natural items at the scene. 6, body position, how the bodies were laid. And 7, atypical blood pattern used in the body to anoint. Nick McClellan asked Dawn Perlmutter, if none of her books were on Odinism, then how did she study it, if there is no history of Odinistic killings ever? She replied that there is a symbolism that mirrors other religions. The defense argues that Brad Holder did not visit the gym at 2 p.m. on February 14th, and his social media alibi was deemed excessive to provide cover. Johnny Messer claimed that he and Brad Holder were on the bridge while Patrick Westfield committed the crime. Westfield erased data from his phone a few days before the interview. Elvis Fields is implicated in the crime, and law enforcement attention was drawn to Rushville based on a statement from Elvis Fields' sister. Quote, if my DNA is found on the victim, and I can explain it. Quote, if my spit is found on the victims and I can explain it, will I get in trouble? The defense also claimed that Elvis Field's alibi is poor and loose. They couldn't keep their story straight about Muncie, Rush Bill, like they were colluding to cover their tracks constantly. Taylor Hornaday's bloody car that Johnny Messer brought back to her was also mentioned in today's hearings. The defense said that Detective Murphy will tell us it was organized and the pieces all fit. Brad Holder's alibi does not work. Prosecutor McClellan responded with using the Lashbrook case as an example, saying that appeals overturned the banning of the third party. The standard cannot be just any evidence. It has to be admissible evidence first, and last, to have a strong nexus. They need to provide a direct material connection between third party and the actual crime. Nowhere in an argument did he give you a third party at the scene fact. It's a high hurdle, Judge. Please grant the motion in limine. These are some of the things discussed today in the Richard Allen hearing, Day 3, Part 2. There's a lot more, folks. I cannot tell you how many details I have, and I will attempt to bring those to you in the follow-up videos in the coming days. Thanks for watching Deb's True Crime Notebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for all notifications, leave us a comment. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of them. And don't forget to share with your friends and on your Facebook groups. We'll see you next time.